Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. What a joy. Are you all enjoying this beautiful weather? I mean, it's unbelievable. I walk outside and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is pretty close to utopia. Anyway, I want to welcome you all here today and thank you for taking the time out of your day to come join us, support Rotary, meet wonderful people with blessed hearts, and partake of food and camaraderie like you won't find anywhere else on Thursdays at noon. So put it on your calendar and come back. If you're not already a member, we want you to join, because this is really a very loving, giving group of some of the most wonderful people in East Texas. And it is a joy to belong to this club and an honor to be the president this year. Okay, now if you will check your cell phones and make sure that they're all turned off. And then if you'll help me give Vicki Conway a big ovation. So nice to have live music. I mean, that is so special. And I'm always so impressed by people with that talent and diligence. I took violin for about 4 years, still can't play, finally gave it up. So, I mean, I have a really very serious understanding of the complexity of music. And so just to sit there and listen to her play so beautifully is really relaxing and wonderful after a very hectic morning in real estate, which is going crazy. Okay, now then, if you'll all stand, David Jones will come. And first I want to thank Paul Gleiser for having the mic ready for me today. Thank you, Paul.
That's funny. Join me as we do the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bomb bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Y'all sound very, very good today. Very, very good today. And probably several members of your ministers of music at your churches would love to have you in your choir. just say, right. Before I do the invocation this morning, I want to say thank you for those of you who acknowledged that I was not here last week for my little anniversary recognition, but I was with my brother in Dallas in the hospital and in ICU, and there was a question whether or not he was going to make it. And double pneumonia and stage 3 kidney failure. And we had an hour conversation last night. He's back in the room and can't shut up. Doing very well. So thank you for those of you who have given words of encouragement. Also, talking with Randy just a moment ago at the serving line, her daughter, her 9-year-old daughter, Mia, is going to have her 3rd surgery this coming Monday. There was a little accident in the yard on the swing, And there was this glass ball decoration, and her daughter hit the glass ball, and they're having difficulty getting all of the glass out of her leg. So if you don't mind praying for her, it would be greatly appreciated. All right, let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the day and for the privilege of being here. And we thank you that you answer prayer when we have concerns to bring to you. We thank you for this club, that there is a sense of belonging and caring among our membership, that we are willing to stand in the gap for each other when there is need. So give us encouragement and give us strength and help us to be more focused on the spiritual sides of and needs of our members, our families, and our community. We thank you for the club. We thank you for what we have opportunity to do. And may you just bless us as we reach out to make a difference in Tyler and the surrounding area. God bless our club. In Jesus' name I pray today. Amen. Thank you, and be seated. Oh, when you sign up for something, you get signed up. I get to do the welcome as well today. So do we have any visiting Rotarians with us today? Starting over here on this side of the room. Any visiting Rotarians? Okay, in the center. Any visiting guest Rotarians? And then on this side over here. All right, I see none. Well, next, let's find out if we have guests that have come join us today.
I have with me today Denise Miller. She and her husband are starting up Ace Candy services, which will begin in June 10th. So she's visiting for the first time, trying to learn about it.
Wonderful. Glad to have you with us today. Thank you. All right. Any other guests here in the middle? And then on the side over there. Yes. 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 Susan is the executive director of Camp B. Thank you for coming, Susan. Appreciate you. And we talked about her joining. So y'all be nice and be very encouraging.
I appreciate it.
So thank you for being with us, Susan. President Walters.
Thank you, David. And David had double duty today with invocation and the pledge and the introduction. So if you would help me thank Leland and Mary for being such gracious greeters today. And now for certainly my favorite part of every week, our own famous Paul Gleiser and This Week in History. Give him a hand.
We're about to give you out. Oh, by the way, if you don't have anything on your calendar this evening, some shameless self-promotion. We're rolling out, we're going to go back out in the world, KTBV World Tour 11 excursion. We're going to be talking about it. I'll buy you a glass of wine at Keepersall at 6:30 tonight.
Oh.
Watch a video and consider joining our trip. 6:30, the tasting room, the grand room at Keepersall. First glass of wine's on me. You're buying to come learn about it. I'm buying. All right.
Hey.
I have that weakness when it comes to the bar. All right. On the 15th of April, 1947, wearing uniform number 42, Jack Roosevelt Robinson stepped onto the field at Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, New York, and in so doing became the first African American to appear in a Major League Baseball game. Jackie Robinson would go on to become the National League's Rookie of the Year that year, the league's most valuable player in 1949. He played in 6 All-Star games, helped his team win 6 National League pennants and 1 World Series. He'd be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1962 in his first year of eligibility. 50 years to the day later, on April 15th, 1997, 50,000 fans would be on hand at Shea Stadium in New York, when his number 42 was officially retired from all of Major League Baseball, the only jersey number in any sport to bear that distinction. On the 16th of April, 1947, financier and advisor to multiple presidents, Bernard Baruch, speaking to the South Carolina House of Representatives on the subject of U.S. relations with the Soviet Union, said, and we quote, "Let us not be deceived. We are today in the midst of a Cold War. Our enemies are to be found abroad and at home, end quote. The term Cold War was instantly picked up by the media, newspapers, and magazines, and TV as an apt description between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, the tension between those countries. On the 17th of April, 1964, named for a U.S. fighter plane from World War II and conceived as a quote-unquote working man's Thunderbird, the Ford Mustang was introduced to New York's World's Fair and simultaneously at dealerships across the country. More than 22,000 were sold in the first week. It's been in continuous production since. The Ford Mustang sold over 13 million units to date. It's the third best-selling U.S. passenger car of all time. On the 18th of April, 1775, Samuel Adams and John Hancock were hiding from the British in Lexington. When British troops left Boston to pursue them, Paul Revere, a metalsmith, rode from Charlestown near Boston to Lexington to warn Adams and Hancock and to rouse the Minutemen. The next day, the shot heard around the world was fired in Lexington and the American Revolutionary War began. On the 19th of April, 1995, Timothy McVeigh, an accomplice, detonated a truck bomb outside the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City. 168 died in the attack, and the building was totally destroyed. 20th of April, 1999, at 11:19 a.m., another bad day, teenagers Dylan Klebold and Eric Harris went on a shooting spree at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado. By 11:35 a.m., 12 fellow students and a teacher were dead, and 23 lay wounded. Shortly after noon, Klebold and Harris turned their guns on themselves. And on Wednesday, the 21st of April in 1836, this is a good day, 6.5 weeks after Texian troops were routed by Mexican troops under the command of General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna in the Battle of the Alamo, Texas General Sam Houston led a surprise raid on Santa Anna's troops at San Jacinto. Yeah, yes, there you go. The Mexicans were thoroughly defeated. Hundreds were captured, including Santa Anna, and Texas's independence from Mexico was effectively won. The Mexicans are working on birthdays in the coming week. Emma Thompson turns 62 today, the great British actress. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, basketball great, turns 74 tomorrow. Wow. As does Pope Emeritus Benedict XVI. He turns 94 tomorrow. Actress Haley Mills. Who remembers Haley Mills? More than I thought. You guys are old. Haley Mills turns 75 on Sunday. And Her Majesty Elizabeth II of the United Kingdom, still mourning the loss of her husband, turns 95 on Wednesday. And that's this week in history.
Wasn't that great? Don't you just love it? I love it. And it was so nice to find out that Haley Mills is so much older than me. Yay! Makes me feel like a child. Okay. I have a lot of Rotary business to discuss today. But I'd like to invite Dixie Walker to the front, please. She's our social butterfly, and she has a lot of butterfly news. I'll make this short and quick if I can. The April 27th, which is a week from this Tuesday, is our Rotary social hour. We were meeting at Bellagio del Vino. They're going to be providing for us a little miniature plates. I'm sure there's a more professional word for that. Tapas. Thank you, Steve. Tapas. And they'll be bringing them out. And there's a menu in front of you on your table, and there's also more right over there on the piano. It is. You need to sign up with Holly. It's $38, and you get all 4 of those plates full of all this wonderful food that's listed on here. And then they're giving us happy hour prices on beverages. So anyway, need to sign up for that. Then the next event, social gathering, is a family gathering This is also on your table, and there's more over there. It's a family gathering at the True Vine Brewery on Earl Campbell. It's an event where you can bring your children, you can bring your pet, dogs, so they have a dog park. And then we're also going to have the East Texas Symphony will be there playing. We will have reserved tables, and it'll be under the covered area. So, and we do need to know a number on that. Of course, this one's May 27th, so we have a couple of days. The other one is April 27th, so we need to get on top of that straight away. But anyway, this is here. And then the only other thing I had to talk to you about, we have at our East Texas Food Bank, at the Christmas parade, different events that we have, a lot of people say, well, we should have shirts. We should all wear Rotary shirts. So that's what these are up here for. This actually has our logo on it. You can order these online. Holly is going to send out an email. It's Russell Hampton. Yeah. You can buy this shirt. It just has the Rotary logo on the front. They also come in long sleeves. And then we really talked about getting this bright yellow for the Christmas parade, when we work the Christmas parade. So, but anyway, they have jewelry, they have scarves, they have cups, mugs. I mean, just a huge assortment of things that you can get. But I wanted to particularly point these out because we discussed, every time we get together, we discuss getting these. You come on.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to watch you jumping up and down. Those shirts are really great. And when we do volunteer, there's always people that look at us like, who are you and what are you doing? So it's self-explanatory that we're Rotarians and we're giving our time freely and lovingly to support the community in whatever cause. So when you get the email from Holly, just go on there, and they're not expensive. And so you can stick them in your closet, and when you're fixing to go do something like volunteer at the food bank or for the Christmas parade, you can put it on and probably show what you're doing and who you're supporting and that we're Rotarians. So thank you for that, Dixie. Okay. District Training Assembly will be May the 1st from 8:30 to 2:30 p.m. That can't be right. 8:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the First United Methodist Church in Longview, Texas. So put that on your calendar. Everybody knows what's happening June the 5th. We're going to have a really, really, really special evening. It will be so exciting and so thrilling to finally get to celebrate our 100 years of Rotary in the Tyler Rotary Club. And great, great news. DM found out last week that even though it's spring break, that the UT Tyler Jazz Group there will be enough of the members still in town to come entertain us at the Centennial. So that will be, if you've never heard, that one thing is worth the price of the ticket, right, George? Yeah. I mean, they're just awesome and fun, and you'll be wanting to tap your feet and get up and move around. So anyway, definitely everybody, let Holly know, get your tickets. I mean, it's going to be a really big deal, and you want to be part of that memory. Okay, let's see. There's more about that. Prime rib or pecan crusted salmon will be the entree choices. It's going to be $75 per person, including pre-dinner reception with the RI director, Susie Howe. She's a star in her own rights. And $50 per person if you only want to have dinner, no libations. So then Judge Ken Starr will be here June the 10th. You can't miss that. Just speak on his new book, June the 10th. That's a change from when he was originally coming on the 27th. So make sure you make a note that he'll be here on the 10th. He's going to speak on his new book, Religious Liberty in Crisis, Exercising Your Faith in an Age of Uncertainty. So please sign up with Holly on that. she needs to get a count because there will be probably standing room only. We need to make sure we've got room for everybody to sit down and be comfortable and listen to Judge Starr. The monthly board meeting is tomorrow, April the 16th, at the La Quinta, Emmett's wonderful place over off of Robert Lee Drive, kind of at the corner there behind La Posada. And he always very graciously supplies water, and DM always very graciously brings the best cookies you've ever allowed to live over. I mean, he makes it so much fun. I mean, if nothing else, it's a good time to get together, have camaraderie, and visit, and really learn about the inner workings of our Rotary. And I mean, we all have a big blast at this hour, and we always have really good information. But the board meeting is different. It is truly discussing everything all the committees are doing and how we're working and reaching out to help the community and the whole planet. And so it's a really excellent free opportunity to come and hear about your club and understand it more deeply and thoroughly and appreciate what else going on that you're supporting. So try sometime to come. We usually get there between 11:30 and noon, and we have a really fun time. We visit, kind of bring your snack lunch, and we break bread, and it's really a nice time to be together. Okay, our program for April the 22nd is going to be Sam Smith of Hand Up Network, and Bill Pascal is our president-elect, which he'll soon be taking my place up here, and it's going to be fun and exciting to have Bill running the show. But real quickly, before Bill comes forward, Susan Campbell wanted to make a quick announcement, and because she's my friend, I'm going to work her in here. We got just a couple of minutes.
Very quick. Okay. Yes, thank you. So on April 27th, we already have an evening planned for you, but we would like to invite you to come to Camp B at 11:30 to help us celebrate the opening of our third renovation, the women's veteran building. So it's dedicated to women veterans, spouses, family members, caregivers, so they have their own special place. So come to the Camp B, you get to take a tour. We'd love to have you because you've helped us get there, and we appreciate it.
And they're still getting there, so, all support appreciated of Camp B. That's definitely very close to my heart. Okay, now then, Bill Pascal, thank you so much for bringing us these great speakers this year. We've had such a fun time. Okay.
Well, thank you for the compliment, Pam. We did have a speaker lined up this morning. Her name is Rebecca Renfro from an organization known as For the Silent. It is about human trafficking and what the problem it is. This morning at about 7:30, I was on a Zoom call, and during that call, I got an email and a text and a phone call from Holly. And I'm thinking, oh boy, this can't be good. And sure enough, it wasn't. Turns out Ms. Renfro unfortunately caught stomach bug or something like that. So got off the Zoom call, and I'm thinking, well, gee, who can we get? Who can we get? Oh, we'll get George Roberts. So we all know George, George, our fellow Rotarian, our good friend, and above all, the guy that got me out of a big jam this morning. Please welcome George Roberts. Thank you, George. Thank you.
And so, thank you. And so we had an emergency operations center meeting this morning. So that's kind of, the good news is that I had a presentation already prepped, thank you, David, for today, for this meeting. So it's like, okay, well, of all the days to call, this is actually pretty good because I can take a couple slides out of here and presentation's done. So that worked. But those of us who have had the opportunity to serve in the role of president of Rotary as well as president-elect know that your job, the president-elect job, is to get the speakers. And I still remember Paul Gleiser, and when I accepted the role of doing this, Paul Gleiser and Billy Hibbs come up to me and say, George, hey, there may be times that you're in a bind, give us a call. We will pinch it for you if something comes up. So like, fortunately, my year, I don't think I was very lucky that year. I don't think I had, if people cancel on me, we had another backup or something. So I don't think I had anybody call at the last minute. So I don't know if this is your first time to do that. But anyway, so those of us, I guess my point is, typically, I had not planned. I had some other things going on there. I said, I was president-elect, and I sat in that position. If somebody did that to me, to get an answer very quickly, that would have bailed him out. So glad to do this today. It's an honor to be here today. And it's just I have not had the chance to come to the club as much this year, obviously, for obvious reasons, and have missed it. But I'm just seeing the growth of the club. I'm seeing a lot of faces I don't know right now. I'm so pleased to see the growth of the club. And I think we're up to, was it 99 right now, Holly? And so our goal was to be at 100. And we're smelling that goal. And that's even with some people that have, unfortunately, we've lost a few people this last year or so due to, longtime members, 1 o'clock and other people like that we really counted on. So it's so nice to see these smiling faces out here in the room. And hopefully you're still smiling when I finish up, or at least I keep you awake. Yes, sir. Really? Yeah. There you go. Have you put in your application yet? It's in the works. Okay, so maybe tomorrow. Good. Number 100. So Susan will celebrate her that night when we do the 100th member. So anyway, so my role here today, I have some slides here, and the way I work with the clubs and things like that is I would say, if you have questions along the way, just stop and let's talk. I'd rather, instead of, I don't like seeing people in a room kind of going after lunch, a nice lunch like that, instead of meatloaf myself. I don't want to see, for example, April over going. So I want to see her wide awake the whole time. So once you leave, that you've got some good information today and everything. So I'm going to start our presentation here, and thank you, Kathy, for doing this today. Kathy was always there we go. So can y'all see that? Can you see that? No? Basically, this is my dashboard for Smith County. Yeah. NET, that's right. Thank you, Paul. So this is basically telling you how many, this is the thing, we started doing this back a little over a year ago when COVID first hit. I announced the first cases of COVID-19 at City Hall on Friday, March the 13th. So 13 months ago, we started this journey. So where are we at this point? As of Monday, and we'll come up with we only do this report now twice a week. We were doing it 5 days a week until a few weeks, several weeks ago, and the demand is kind of starting going down. But as of Monday, we had 19,788 total cases in Smith County reported since March the 13th last year. We only had 93 cases that I reported. So basically that 93 counted any cases that came up from last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So 4 days worth of cases. There were periods of time during this whole pandemic when I had 93 in one day. I was thrilled because that was a good day. So we've had some 19,000, and we have confirmed and probable that there's wonkiness there. Why? With some confirmed and probable, but basically they're all positive cases. 847 active cases, almost 19,000 have recovered. 289 people have died since this whole thing started in Smith County. So and then we have broken down by city, and there's stories over the last year of how this dashboard got compiled and everything. There's stories I could tell you. Every piece of this we talked about, and what information do we need to be sharing with the public. As of Monday, there were 48 East Texas patients in Tyler, Texas hospitals. Today is 53, so the dashboard will come out today is 53 today, so something a little bit in the hospital. Oh, something interesting too. Something that's different, I don't know if you noticed this, male, female, something that's different here versus really other communities. You think more guys are getting this than ladies. In our market, we've had this 2,000 difference of the 19,000 some odd cases. There's more female than male by 2,000, so it's a significant difference. Why is that? Can you answer that question? Yes, sir. Women live longer.
Well, they do. They live longer. They lived in those years where you're born. That would be an example.
That may be. That may be. But other areas of the country, it's males getting it more than females. So, but that could be a good explanation. Okay, this is another one right here. So how do you judge how you're doing with this thing? You've heard positivity rates. Well, people ask me, what's our positive rate around here? Well, it's hard for me to calculate that because I can tell you what gets sent to us is positive cases. I don't know how many lab samples that represents. So I kind of look at the hospitals and other people to tell me that, because I don't know how many lab samples came up by 19,000. I don't know how many samples I took to get that. So I don't know. I can't tell you what the positivity rate, but I can tell you a spread rate. So this is something we developed. Basically, it's a 7-day, we'll call our 7-day rolling rate. And basically what this number right here is telling us is 10.25. That over a 7-day period between the 6th and the 12th of April, 10.25 individuals per 100,000 in Smith County tested positive for COVID. That's what that number is. And we came up with this graphic to 7-day rolling rate to say, is it minimal, moderate, or substantial? So you can see here, we're like 0.25 people over the middle thing. So just slightly into the moderate range there. And so we figured, and we were, just to give you fact, we've gotten into the 70s on this back in January. So this number has gone a lot. But you see, we've seen some real, the numbers are down, which is great news. And people say, well, what's different in Texas? Because you hear, y'all heard of Michigan right now. Michigan, the numbers are way up right there. What's different about Michigan versus Texas? I can give you a lot of good explanations there, but I can tell you the difference between Michigan and Texas, but I can't tell you why they're having more positive cases than we are. We'll leave it there. We'll leave it there. So net health, we actually operate in 7 counties for preparedness, disease surveillance. We operate in Smith and Gregg. We also operate in Anderson County, Henderson County, Van Zandt, Wood, and Rains County. So looking at our total 7-county area, this is the number of positive cases per day. We kind of look at our 7-day moving average. You see that back in January, we were, it was really busy. We had a lot of cases in our whole area. And then it really started, I guess, almost seemed like we froze it out. See the freeze number right here? We kind of froze, maybe we froze COVID out of here. That's all you get to say. It really dropped dramatically there. Smith County kind of follows the same type of trend. So you see the trend is, lots of cases right there in the middle part of January going down in this area. Hospitalized patients, we got a peak. Our hospitalization number got to 319 in mid-January. I know Clinton McCoy will tell you that because he was given a lot of convalescent plasma at that point. So 319 at that point. We're at 48 and now 53, but significant difference there. It really started dropping late January, early February. So that was kind of our numbers there. This is the number right here. If y'all remember, right around Christmas time, we went up 15% in our area. Y'all remember that whole conversation? And the governor's order kicked in. Basically, the restaurants had to go from 75 to 50. And several other restrictions came into place. We stayed at that number. We stayed in restrictions until right Super Bowl weekend. Then it changed. And it's been going down ever since. 2.37 now. So that's great news. Deaths, basically this little bubble here, what this basically shows here, in our whole area, who's dying from this? Essentially, you look here, you don't see a lot of young people dying from this. You see basically people, you see the 50s, maybe 60, but look at this. People get about 65 or so. That's your huge bubble right there, people dying from this. So typically, people that are dying from this are older. And in many cases, they've got many other health complications. Obesity is a big health complication that they've seen with this. This is data. It's a little bit, this is from a Department of Sales Services data chart here. And it's a little bit, I think we've actually done more than that. You'll see that in another slide. But the data, the info gets a little dated sometimes. But this shows that almost 9.3 million Texans have been at least received one dose. Almost 6 million people are fully vaccinated in Texas. And of that, you see the demographics here, and I'll show you the point out here. It's 7% Asian, 7% Black, 26% Hispanic, 8% other, unknown is 12%, and 40% white. So look at the demographics here. Look at this, and I'll show you Smith County. Smith County, we're 58,000 people have had at least one first dose. But the demographics here: 2% Asian, almost 14% Black, 8% Hispanic. So our African American population is higher here versus the state, but much lower in the Hispanic group. And the white population is right at 50% of the total vaccinated. Net health. So net health is given. Now my organization is given close to 56,000 vaccines since we started this. So I'm really proud of the staff that we've had. We've had to hire a group of contractors to help. We've worked at Harvey Hall. We've done some outreach clinics and things. And really, as we're getting more of the vaccine, I'll give you some ideas about what I think we see moving forward. But you see, have y'all heard about Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson, and all that? You're familiar with all those. So we started off with Moderna. Moderna was pretty easy to draw up. The state told us if we would switch to Pfizer, they could give us more doses, which they did. But messing with Pfizer is a pain in the tail to mess with Pfizer. I can give you all the details, but it's very difficult. You have, it's like orange juice concentrate. You have to put water in or saline, mix it up, swirl it around, then draw it out. It takes about twice as long to mess with it. Huh? In the last 6 hours, yeah, it's lots of complications. But Pfizer, Moderna, 94, 95% effective once you've had 2 doses. So you can't sneeze at that. But you see our growth here, how much more immunization-wise we're doing each second dose and first dose. This shows you kind of some graphics here about count of vaccinated, the number in thousands, how we're doing in the Vaccinating East Texas, just my organization, and then all providers. So you're seeing some pretty good concentration. Smith County is very fortunate. We have 2 hubs. I'm running a hub site. UT Health Science Center is running a hub site. And between us, we've done over 100,000 vaccines. And then our pharmacies are getting it now. So the supply of vaccines are getting out there. And I told somebody earlier today, I said, I was a lot of people's new best friend there for a couple of months. People were pinging me all the time. Hey, I need to do this. Well, I told my staff, I said, at some point, we like this. We're getting besieged and being asked, requested by request. But I said, at some point, that's going to change. Guess what? It's changed. So now we have to go more to a mode that I got to call Paul Gleiser up and say, hey, Paul, I need a little help here to get the word out about the vaccines now. Well, but actually, so I have to go in sales mode now versus just information mode. So I got to change my tune on this a little bit. So anyway, I'm sure you can help me with that. Vaccine update. So this is some supplies of Dr. Paul McGahey, who's our Smith County Health Authority. Any of y'all know Paul, Dr. McGahey? He is just a outstanding. He ought to come speak to the club, Bill or Allison sometime. He's just a wealth of knowledge, just a wonderful, wonderful man. So anyway, he's been on the governor's, the commissioner of health's, they call it the EVAC committee, the vaccine committee, how they determine how to change the ages, the people who are eligible for the vaccine, et cetera. And I think they've done a pretty marvelous job working with all this. So this slide shows a little bit different. About 17, almost 18% of Texans have been fully vaccinated. 13.2 million vaccine doses. So again, that's a little different than what I showed you earlier. Doses administered, you see what's really changed here. Obviously, everybody got caught in the freeze that 1 week, but the number of doses administered have really gone up. It's really, if you think about it, the fact that we have a vaccine right now is pretty remarkable. Those of you, I'm looking at Dr. Huddles of the world. I read something this morning that said the mumps vaccine got created pretty fast, but the fact that we have a vaccine, we just started doing it for 4 months is really remarkable. And the fact that it started, first vaccines were given in mid, the public was mid-December. So we knew that the doses would be slow to come out with at first, but they're doing quite well. This shows 54,000 administered through the 12th. Well, we've added to that this week. Whoops. Sorry, too fast there. UT Health Science, they're almost at 48,000 through their hubs. So both organizations have really hit it hard. Just between the two of us, 102,000 doses. And again, that doesn't include pharmacies and others. So our pharmacies around here, we've got the hospital. Christus has done a lot. There's a number of other people who've given a lot of vaccines. So we're 120,000. That's huge. Percent of the population vaccinated. That's a big key number right here. We were in our EOC this morning. We kind of said, we need to have some kind of measure that the public knows what percent of the population has been doing this. So that's something we got to lean into to figure out how can we best get that out to the public. Because the next question is, when do we achieve herd immunity? Y'all probably heard that. And we had that discussion this morning too, and I asked some smarter people than myself that same question, and the answer is, that's a good question. Nobody quite has to answer that question, and I wish I did, because I get asked that question all the time. of the population vaccinated, do we go back to normal? And it seems to be, nobody quite knows the answer to that. But we're 30% of the people have been vaccinated with at least one dose, 16 and older, 19% fully vaccinated. And here's the biggie right here, 63%, 63% of our seniors over 65, one dose, 44% fully vaccinated. I think that's a lot of our hospital and things like that. There was a federal contract to go to the nursing homes and assisted livings to vaccinate that population. And I think that's made a huge difference in the hospital numbers. You just think about it, well, if those seniors, people in the nursing home are vaccinated, that's a whole lot better. Johnson & Johnson, everybody heard about Johnson & Johnson, everything happened there? So this popped in Wednesday, and my organization actually, we received 1,000 doses of J&J. I kind of leaned into the state and said, because what I visualized with Johnson & Johnson said, this, with a one dose, wouldn't this be great? We could take this out to the communities, the people that need one dose. I thought about your family member, John, one dose and one and done type of thing. Got my first 1,000 doses. We actually gave 85 or 86 last week. So I have a little bit on the shelf right now. And Wednesday we get this information that, well, we need to pause this. So there's been just under 7 million doses that have been administered in the United States. The one thing about Johnson & Johnson is that the state told us back in February, said once they get this thing approved, they said they've already got their manufacturing processes all lined up, so they're basically going to be able to double what Pfizer and Moderna do. So we're like, great, this is going to be awesome. I thought by March that we'd just be swimming in Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Well, that didn't happen. Then they had a manufacturing faux pas that they had to basically toss 15 million doses. And so the Johnson & Johnson thing has been really kind of challenging. So here's the deal. So there were 6 cases in women between 18 and 48 that developed blood clots. And CDST, I'm like, what's a CDST? And I finally figured out, somebody told us once, that's a brain clot. And so one woman died. So I think they're really looking, there's more to this than I'm hearing right now that we're all being told about this. But, why your answer is, well, why would they pause 6 out of 6.8 billion? The percentages are pretty low. So there's more to this than
how many would have thrown that plot out of 1.85 million?
Well, that's a good question. That's a good question. That's a good question, Bob. But that's why I say there's more to this story than we all know. So,
hey George,
yes.
What's your shelf life of your Johnson & Johnson that you have left over?
It's pretty soon. I mean, what's this in the refrigerator? I think it's 6 months to a year. I think it's a pretty long shelf life, and it stays. Now, the deal with the Johnson & Johnson, once you draw it up, you have 2 hours to use it, but it stays in the refrigerator until you draw it up. It's pretty good shape. So I mean, and they basically said, if you got it, don't throw it away. So that's the main thing there. So the 6 cases, one patient died. No reported cases in Texas. 560,000 doses administered in Texas. So they're pausing. They had a meeting of this immunization group yesterday. No decision. I think they have another meeting Friday. So will the J&J move forward? My guess is, if I'm a betting man, I'd say it'll move forward. When it will move forward, no ideas on that. So Johnson & Johnson's out there, and we'll see what happens with that. Everybody's hearing about the variants. The variants are out there. Maybe that's what's happening in Michigan right now, is the variants. But the vaccines so far appear to be pretty strong against the variants. So that's good. And the sooner we vaccinate everyone, the faster we control the viral spread, reduce the chances for new variants. So the dominant strain is the B.1.1.7. They said a forced surge may be starting in Michigan and some areas in the Northeast. I talked about here in New Jersey yesterday. She says they're working on vaccines as well as dealing with the variants. So they're having some little bit of surges there. But knock on wood, so far in Texas, it's things that, everybody's worried about when the mask mandate was taken out, when spring break happened, everybody was getting out and about in Texas, that our numbers would spike up, and that just is not happening. I've seen a little bit. I saw my numbers, my 7-day rolling rate popped up a little bit, but not significant. So, and it's not that people are staying home anymore. If y'all notice the traffic lately?
Oh, yeah.
And my kids live in Dallas, and they were, the son was griping about the traffic going downtown. So I mean, the traffic is people are not staying home anymore. People were out and about. This I thought was pretty interesting. So people have had COVID-19. So the big question is, if you have COVID-19, how long are you immune? And the study, this was from an article, I guess it was dated Monday. People who have COVID-19 have an 84% lower risk of becoming reinfected and a 93% lower risk of symptomatic infection during 7 months of follow-up. The study shows that previous infection with SARS-CoV-2 induces effective immunity to future infections in most individuals. So how long will that immunity last? Again, how long have we been in this? 13 months? How much do we not know about this disease? A lot. And for me to stand up here and tell you I know a lot about this disease, you would all look like you're a bold-faced liar. Public health recommendation, push out the vaccines as fast as we can. You know, again, one of these things a friend today was talking to the Johnson & Johnson. I said, hey, just come get the vaccine. I have Pfizer. I've got plenty of Pfizer. Just come get the vaccine. I said, by the time the Johnson & Johnson is available for you, you can have your second dose, you'll be done. So he came and got the Pfizer this morning. We'll see how he does. Then protect against COVID, get your vaccine is what we're really saying right now. So again, I'm kind of moving more into trying to get people sold and come and take the vaccine. We have our hub site open. At some point, we were having a discussion this morning, how long will I have a hub at Harvey Hall? Well, the follow-up question is, how much longer will Harvey Hall be standing? And the answer is not a whole lot longer. So my hub at Harvey Hall is probably going to be not going around how much longer, but I think our efforts in the future is probably going out to churches, to schools, doing outreach, and we're starting to have those conversations right now. How do we get in the rural areas? I know Anderson County is having some real low. Their numbers are pretty low so far. I know they're doing a thing at their convention center today. They're trying to do 1,000 doses there. So it's really probably us starting to get out there, and you're starting to see companies that are incentivizing. So I did a deal at Sanderson Farms. Have y'all seen the Sanderson Farms plant out in Winona? Who of y'all seen that? That's incredible. It is. I mean, I was blown away. That place is huge. They got 1,600 people out there working. Anyway, we did a deal last Friday morning over there, and then Friday afternoon at their feed mill. We're going to Palestine as well to do that. But we did, so we have Sanderson Farms. We're looking at probably doing other businesses in town. So what can we do we're kind of going for people coming to us to probably do concierge medicine here. So that's kind of what our future is with the vaccine. And how long will we be doing this? Well, we'll do it as long as we have to. And my staff is, and I got to tell you, my team coming out of the hospital, I worked in hospitals for years, and the team that I have is just unbelievably dedicated to do this. I mean, it's not a 5-day-a-week job for all of us right now. We're there on Saturdays. We're doing what it takes right now. And so my staff is not, I've heard them say I'm tired, but they're not griping. They're like, we've got to, here's our mission. We're going to take care of this mission, and we're going to handle the situation. So my staff, unbelievable staff that I have, very, 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 very fortunate to have such a great team. We've had, and the other thing we've had is tremendous help from retired doctors. We've had a lot of, Dr. Hunter, we've had a lot of retired doctors come over and monitor our observation area. We've had Gary Gross, Stephen Boyd, Stuart Heaton giving shots. So they've done that. UT Tyler School of Nursing, UT Tyler School of Pharmacy has been doing shots. So you think about it, pharmacists give shots now. Well, they really don't, when they're training, they really don't give a whole lot of shots. I'll tell you, this is going to be a well-trained group of shot givers. Unbelievable. We've had many community volunteers, and early on we offered people, we said, we basically told people, said, if you'll come help us at our hub, we'll give you a shot and we'll feed you lunch. And to that end, we've had many restaurants in town that have brought lunch to us, so we're very grateful for that. So it's been, and Christus has helped me with storing my Pfizer vaccine that has to be kept at 70 degrees below Celsius. UT Health Science Center has provided residence for us. So the community has just come out in droves and helped, and I think it's been a very unique experience to see all this. So and we're, I think some of you have been out there to not only get your shots, but also volunteers. We appreciate that as well. So the vaccine world is changing, but that's kind of our way forward here. I hope that I just hope these numbers don't go up again. Will it go up again? I told people along the way, every time I bet this thing's going down, it goes up. Every time I bet it's going up, it goes down. So they're going, you do the wave. Yes, sir.
Through this, over the past 13 months, Florida and Texas most resisted down Florida most. And Florida and Texas did proportionately better by very nearly every metric than hyper lockdown jurisdictions like New York, New Jersey,
California. Yeah.
Has anybody attempted to quantify why that is?
Not that I've seen yet. Other than just, I call it my windshield survey. I've had to ask the same question. Why did and the other thing, schools. Y'all realize there are a lot of schools around the country that have not even, they're still not opened up. Major issues with that. I'm from Memphis originally. Memphis schools have just opened up. Like in the last couple of weeks, I was on a call, lady from Maryland, her kid just went back to school. And our schools, guys, have been, they went back to school August 17th. In our areas, they all went back to school August 17th. And at the time, we all thought, like, okay, I know they got to do it, but 6 weeks from now, it's going to be interesting to see how this works. And by golly, it worked. And yeah, they've had a few issues along the way, but by and large, it has gone much, much better than any of us ever anticipated. That again, if I was a betting man, I would have bet 6 weeks in, we're probably shutting down some of these schools. And the sports went well. I mean, it's been a different year for them, but gosh, they've just done, the superintendents and they've done a magnificent job. So they deserve a lot of applause. When you see those guys, be sure you pat those guys on the back. It's been a tough year for them, but they soldiered through it pretty darn well. Yes, sir.
Are we going to be taking shots every year for COVID?
That's a great question. My guess is we will get a booster shot, but again, the studies, again, you've been doing these shots for 4 months. How long are they going to last? Nobody knows. That's my guess is there'll be booster shots, but when will we do that? Great question.
George, these shots that are given now, particularly Moderna and Pfizer, are totally different than any other antiviral injection known.
Tell them why. Hold this. That's a great. Can you? That's that, Dr. Hunter. Stand up, Dr. Hunter. Would you explain the difference in that? Because I think that's a great point.
Well, all the viral vaccines prior to now have had the killed virus in them, and that's what triggered the immune response. These do not. They do not have the kill virus in them. They're done on another basis. I won't go into that because it gets pretty complicated, but it triggers a response. If you get the virus, then a response is messengered to the antibody area, and that creates the response. It's not done by a kill virus. So therefore, you cannot get the virus from the vaccine as you could with some of the others perhaps, but it's totally different. So therefore, no one knows how long this is going to last, whether it's got to be repeated. Only time will tell the final verse.
Thanks, sir.
It doesn't breaking the chain of contagion if it causes the virus to lose hosts, and that's been what's killed off plagues throughout history.
If the virus does not have a host in a human being, it can't replicate itself. And if it can't replicate itself, it dies. That's what causes the pandemic to stop. If it has no place to go.
Break the chain of contagion.
Right.
And see that what he just told you about the way this is made is J&J is more than killed virus.
That's right.
So it's a difference. So I think that's why it's interesting that they're really stopping and looking at this whole process right now with blood clots. I think that that's also killed virus too. I think it is. Yeah, what's interesting about AstraZeneca is, they had the same thing with blood clots, David. And my daughter's boyfriend is originally from Madrid. He's talked to his family. Spain they threw all their chips in the table on AstraZeneca, and it's really messed them up because, and I think I read something today that the EU, the EU went pretty strong for AstraZeneca. England and United States did something different. Trump basically said we're going to throw it out there think he gave money to 6 companies and said, I'm gonna pay for your, not only am I gonna help pay for your R&D, I'm basically gonna guarantee I'm gonna buy X number of doses regardless of what you do or not. So basically gave them the freedom to get after it. So yeah, we threw our chips in on 6 companies versus them doing one.
In fact, it's grossly underreported.
Yeah. There's an interesting editorial in the title paper that talks about, what that Operation Warp Speed was enormous. And then Operation Warp Speed helped with the convalescent plasma. They were doing, that's incredible what happened with that. And I think that's really one of Trump's legacies. Absolutely.
So what are your responses to some of the common objections that we might see on social media by some of our well-meaning active friends?
Such as?
Okay, so one of them says, oh, these are not CDC approved. They've been authorized, but even the CDC doesn't endorse, blah, blah, blah. And then there's just some weird stuff. Have you not seen some of the weird stuff going around?
Yeah, I've heard some things. It's all under what they call emergency use authorizations. The lab tests were too, but if they had gone through the normal protocols, Dr. Hutton will tell you, take another 2 years, right? Yeah, so it's either, I think the thought of the process is Operation Warp Speed is it may not, do you want to get something out, it's tested about as well as can be tested and get it out there, hurry get it out, try to get this thing over with. You want to try to keep testing it forever and make it perfect. And so my thought is it's an EUA. The CDC has been very engaged in that. The FDA has been very engaged. I'm going to have some semblance of confidence that and you can kind of almost look at the administrations here too. I mean, you have a Republican administration. The leadership of that was in a Republican administration. Now it's a Democratic administration. It all happened. So it's really across party lines, I think, in some ways. So the answer is is there any type of risk with this whole thing? Is what your real question is? And the answer is, of course there's a risk. Yeah, we'd be silly to say there's not, but I think they've done their best job to say, hey, this is how we think the risks are of this thing. That's one of the things that when you get the shot, you go in and they found early on that people are going to have some type of reaction that happens in the first 15 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. And that's why we've had some reactions. We've had some anaphylactic shock. We've had a couple things like that. So we have had some reaction. Yes, ma'am.
My dad was in the hospital about 4 weeks ago, and when it louder. We know my sister and I know this is all these buses with cars in the and all of those are nurses that are turning into outpatients. And I'm talking fully.
Oh yeah. Yeah, those were the state of Texas actually paid for that.
They did?
Yes, that's the state. Those are the regional advisory councils through, basically there was contractors that come to town to help the hospitals get through this time. So the hospital said back in, really around the state, but when we were having emergency operations center back, our real concern was, can you flex? And the hospital said, physically, yes, but we need staff. If you can help us with staff, and that was really a big deal, that having those nurses. Now, they're being demobilized as of mid-May. So about another month they have, so the hospitals right now are in a hurry up mode to try to get some staffing to help compromise, basically get them through that. Because that's going to be a real transition for the hospitals right now. But yeah, there are a lot of contract nurses and they are well paid. Yes, sir.
Every night, the cable news release the guidelines with a negative adverse or adjective embedded in it.
So more positive information?
Yeah, factually what's going on.
Yeah.
You hear more stories about Michigan and somebody translates that to happening in Smith County.
He's right about that.
Yeah. And we quite frankly, we tried and I get the news media here has been very good to us in this whole thing, but I'm telling you, if I have one bad day at the hub site, I get the news media comes with live cameras to take a shot. So, yeah, it's the old thing, Leland and Paul he's in the media. Bad news travels a lot faster than good news.
Yeah.
George, when you do that correlation, that advertising that you're talking about, do a correlation between the increased traffic in South Tyler and the increase in COVID and see if you can shut down some of that traffic.
With that, I'll turn
Okay,
I was
so,
told to fix the streets too. We'll work on that too.
well, I just have three things I want to say, George. Number one, you look magnificent on television.
Oh,
Yeah.
You look so good, and I'm like, oh, that's George. You look really good on TV. Number two, I have so many questions, and every time you talk, I have so many questions that I would really love to ask you, but I know you're too busy to just chit chat, so I would never bother you with them. But, so will you
never
please?
too busy.
So will you please come to the Bellagio social so I can corner you? And ask some of my questions. I figure if I apply you with a little alcohol, then
I can't come next Tuesday night, but the next social, we'll make it to the next social.
Okay, great, okay. Okay, and you know what this is.
Oh, thank you.
It's just a small token, but we so appreciate your time. I know
My
how
pleasure.
busy you are.
Thank you very much.
And I was blown away when I found out you were gonna take our previous speaker's place today, because I know you're a very, very overcommitted man right now, but you're very much appreciated.
My pleasure. This is a great night.
He has done a magnificent job with Med Health. I'm just honored to know him. Okay, I hope that you all, I wanted to explain to you all what's on your table. These are actually supposed to be together, the Solo Bread Company and the Truvine announcement. This is what will be the menu that we'll have for that night. And so they wanted to have it put together, but our two-sided copier just was not really up to the task. So that's what that is. So that's good information to have. And let's see. I think I had one other thing I wanted to say before we adjourn, but it's after 1 o'clock. So, Hammett, give us the good news.
We have 9 cars.
Oh, wow, it's almost-
$2,590.
Wow. I don't think I
ticket either,
remember it being higher than this. I think that's the
I
highest.
didn't get a ticket today, so maybe I'll.
Has it?
I won it. My side,
I got drawn to do the ticket that
my
day.
side of it was $3,400.
You're kidding.
Wow.
What the heck?
I'll tell you what, they had lunch went to $19. That's what happened. When lunch went to $1,900, a $20 bill.
Okay,
My ticket said-
Yeah, I guess so.
winning ticket is 098. 098.
098. Jennifer, I knew it. Oh, wow. You can do it, Jennifer. I know you can. Just go with your first intuition.
You're right there.
It's hard next week.
Wow.
Everybody's disappointed.
Hey, Pam, I can fix it in the box thing again. We take the lunch to $45 for 57.
Right. Okay, with that, don't forget about Tuesday night. Everybody come. And if you'll stand and join me in the 4 truths of the things we think, say, and do. Number 1.
Is it true?
Second.
It's very often.
Third.
Will it build a better friendship?
And fourth.
Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thanks so much for coming.
No,